Eddie Lewis.
And I'm Kenny McGee, and this is the Fantasy Addicts.
We're here for round 2 of our mock draft, and we're going to analyze the results for you.
If you haven't caught round 1, go to thefantasyaddicts.com. Alright, first pick of the second round. Dude got Randy Moss with the 12th pick. In the first round, got T.O. with the next pick.
The first back is going to be terrible if you take 2 receivers with your first 2 picks. You just can't do that. I mean, it's very tempting. These could be the top 2 guys on the board at receiver, which I think they will be. He is a physical specimen, man.
Yeah, I mean,
he doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke. I mean, for God's sakes, he's got a hyperbaric chamber.
Yeah, it's too early for T.O. right there, just because that guy needs a back. He needs a back. If he doesn't get a back, you get a quarterback.
I agree with you. With the next pick in the draft, Ryan Grant. I love Ryan Grant, man. Last year, 956 yards rushing, 8 touchdowns, had 5.1 yards per carry. Only played in 10 games.
Yep.
10 games. Think about this. Brett's gone. Aaron Rodgers is there. What do you do with a young quarterback to help bring him along? You run the ball.
Ryan Grant, I mean, he has great upside. If he does what he did last year, then yeah, he's a #1 back, and you got him in the second round. It's a tough schedule, new quarterback, 8 in the box.
With Lynch and Grant as their first 2 backs, I feel like they're both going to have good seasons. I actually like that. I like those picks.
You know, Favre, no Brett Favre. This early in the second round, I like a couple guys a lot better than Ryan Grant. So with the 15th pick in the draft, 3rd pick in the second round, our producer, Jason Gillikin, takes Larry Johnson. He took Peyton Manning in the first round, so he wants to make sure and lock down a #1 back. A lot of upside. I mean, even in the very recent past, he was, you know, duking it out with LT for who's the best running back in the league.
Last year, he missed 8 games,
right.
The last 8 games of the regular season.
Right.
And in 5 of those games, he had less than 50 yards rushing.
Right.
And in 4, he didn't even score a touchdown.
He's a slow starter, man.
I had him last year, and he is a turtle.
Literally, he could end up top 5 back.
I feel like it's more likely that he lays an egg because the O-line that he has now is not the same O-line that he had a couple of years ago when he had those 2 huge seasons. And the next pick in the draft, Reggie Wayne. This guy took Willis McGahee in the first round.
He's Mr. Consistent, man. He's top 6 or 7 for a few years in a row now. He hasn't missed a game in 6 years, and you know I love talking about yardage and receptions over touchdowns for receivers. They're so much more predictable. If a guy gets the ball 100 times one year, he's going to get it a lot the next year.
The last time that Marvin was healthy for a full season, you know what Reggie Wayne had? He had 86 catches, 1,310 yards, and 9 touchdowns.
Which is almost awesome.
Do you want that with your number, taking him here?
Yeah, but that's 2 years ago now. You know what I mean? That's Reggie Wayne 2 years ago. At this point, with Marvin back, I still consider Reggie Payton's #1 homie. All right, with the 5th pick in the second round, Mr. Lewis takes Clint Portis, which is really a pick that I love now. I can't believe Portis fell this far in the second round.
I was just going to say that. He's a first-round guy. And when he was here, you know, with my pick in the second round, I had to jump on him. I'll tell you why I love him. He was one of 6 backs last year. Only 6 backs got 300 carries for the season. He was one of them. He led the league in carries last year with 325. Jason Campbell is back. He's healthy. That opens up the field for Portis. You can't stack it up on him so much, and I'm sure he saw a lot of 8-man fronts last year.
Oh, yeah.
And here's what Jim Zorn said about him. I have a quote. He said, he is the idea of an every down back. And in today's NFL, I like that.
Yeah, definitely.
With the next pick in the draft, Willie Parker. And this guy took Marion Barber with his first pick.
So I had some questions about Marion Barber in the first round, and I got an answer for you about Willie Parker in the second round.
What's that?
That is a bad pick, man. You know, you can be the rushing leader all you want, but if you only score 2 touchdowns, you know, you're going to be, that 100 yards a week ends up looking silly.
That's a bad pick there. That's a bad pick. Willie Parker played almost the whole season. He only had 23 catches. Even though Najee is gone now, they went out and they got Rashard Mendenhall, who's going to eat up Willie Parker's carries, Willie Parker's fantasy points, and he's going to steal everything at the goal line for Pittsburgh.
All right, with the next pick in the draft, Maurice Jones-Drew, Steven Jackson in the first round. You know I love that. And that gives you the ability to be flexible with your second pick. Why go out and get somebody who's really, really mediocre when it comes down to it? Big name, big highlights, but I mean, not a big back at all.
I like this pick, actually. Maurice Jones-Drew in 06 has 16 touchdowns.
Right.
Last year, he had 10 total touchdowns.
Right.
He had almost 1,200 yards total last year. And the year before that, almost 1,400. He's also a factor in the return game. For his career, man, he's averaged over 5 yards per carry. And he's a great receiver out of the backfield.
Right.
With the next pick in the draft, Braylon Edwards. And this guy took Joseph Adai with his first pick.
It's hard to say too many things bad about him, man. What was he, the number 3 wide receiver in the league last year? Had something like 16 touchdowns.
16 touchdowns.
He won me some money. I hate bad-mouthing anybody who won me some loot.
I think he can easily get 100 catches. How many yards is he going to have? 1,400? 1,500?
Well, it's the same thing. I don't think he got 100. You know, why didn't he get 100 catches last year? Because
Derek Anderson's first year. Derek Anderson just finally realized what a talent he had in Braylon and how much he needs to get it to him because he just played for the first time last year.
With the 21st pick in the draft, I think the 9th pick in the second round, Jamal Lewis. I love him. 6 of the last 7 games last year, he had 100 combined yards. You know, he had a 2,000 yards. Everybody forgets about Jamal. It's like he was going to be the next big thing. Cleveland's going to put up a gang of numbers, a bunch of numbers. And Jamal Lewis has proven that he gets the carries, 300-something carries last year. He gets touchdowns.
He didn't get a ton of receptions last year. And definitely in a PPR league, Jamal's value drops. And I don't know if I take him this early in a PPR. I like Jamal with this pick. So with the next pick in the draft, my buddy here selected Andre Johnson.
Andre Johnson.
And of course, you know, he took Tom Brady with his first pick.
And if Andre Johnson is healthy, if Matt Schaub is healthy, if their running game doesn't stink, he's one of the guys that I could see compete with Randy. And one of the things I love to harp about Andre is that it's awesome to have the #1 receiver on a shitty team. Garbage time is Andre's time. I mean, he's going to get a ton of catches late in games.
He's played 5 seasons in the NFL, and the most yards he's ever had in a season is 1,147.
Yeah. I mean, he's been the next big thing forever now. The next T.O., the next whoever.
They've been waiting for him to explode. He just hasn't done it yet.
With the second to last pick in the second round, you have Marcus Colston. Who did he have with his first pick?
This guy took AD with his first pick.
And I think Colston will end up outproducing AD, honestly. I got Colston as my 2nd overall wide receiver. I love him, man. I love him. The sky's the limit with this dude. Drew Brees threw the ball 652 times last year.
He has Jeremy Shockey now,
Yep.
which opens up the field for him.
He's on a prolific offense. They chuck it. Their D is horrible. Their running game is suspect as usual.
Their division is not that great.
Their division is not that great, you know, and so he's going to be a deep threat again this year. He's fully healthy. Somebody else has him besides me now. So with the last pick in the second round is Ronnie Brown. What you think, Ron? That guy's got LT to begin with. So, I mean...
He's got the best back on the board in LT.
Right.
I think Ronnie Brown's a bit of a reach here.
Yeah?
Ronnie Brown. The most touchdowns he's ever had in the season, 5. And guess what? I don't even like him to finish the season.
Yeah, you know, ACL, I've always heard that's a 2-year injury, right? I just feel like with as injury prone as backs are, why are you going to take an injury prone one? So that's the second round. I got 24 picks in the book. Some good, some bad.
We got the 3rd round coming up, so check back with us. We'll be posting it soon.
TheFantasyAddicts.com. Listen, we've been up 1 week. We got more content than... Good Lord, and ESPN puts up in a month on fantasy. Look at my eyes. See this little
sleepy
bags? You know, that's what I'm talking about.